Hi, it's Splinterverse. Welcome to another episode of D&D New Releases, where we offer first impressions of new third-party products for Dungeons & Dragons. We cover a selection of titles from Dungeon Masters Guild and DriveThruRPG each week. The titles are presented in alphabetical order, and all of them are linked in the video description. Purchasing the books using those links helps the channel, but you can also support us by purchasing one of our best-selling books. Our newest release, Dragonlance Companion, offers 180 pages for players and DMs to bring the magical world of Krynn to life. And like many of our books, it's available in hardcover and digital format. Our Swarms of the Multiverse offers over 70 brand new creatures, including their associated swarms, instructions on how to make your own balanced swarms, and lots of bonus materials such as 4 new demi-planes. Our Feywild Companion offers 150 pages of Feywild fun for players and DMs alike. Also, our book, Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets, contains over 50 pages of dragon-themed player options, including a subclass for each class and much more. We've got lineages suitable for any setting, as well as optional lineage rules in our Van Richten's Librum of Lineages. With our Potions Unlocked book, we have over 100 pages of material to take potions to the next level in your game. Please support the channel by purchasing our books using the links in the video description. First, we need to talk about our exclusive discount this week. It's the Ghelspad Companion Complete Edition from Elaine Giorla, and is for the Scarred Land setting, which is a really fun setting that's inspired by Greek mythology. It's where the gods and the titans have warred, and there's consequences on the land. It's really a fun setting. If you haven't checked it out, you really need to. And this would be a great way to check it out because it's normally $14.95, and with our exclusive discount, you're going to get it 33% off. So that's a good chunk of change off of this, and it's a best copper seller, so it's already got a lot of people's interest. And in this case, it compiles all the entries of the past Ghelspad Companion up to volume 13 in a single one. So it's giving you 203 pages with 40 new subclasses. Information about the dead divinities of Ghelspad and how to harness their power, 2 new races, and additional options for the Hollow Legionnaires, 15 new feats, 30 new spells and true rituals, 60 magic items, and 40 new magic tattoos. Plus, you have the description of 50 mythical locations to visit in Ghelspad and new magic boons to gain while you're there. So it draws inspiration from both the old and the new Scarred Lands lore, expanding upon setting elements described in official products, including a fair number of references to the very first relics and rituals. Each game element has a lore section that describes its history and significance to the setting. So if you are a fan of the Scarred Lands or you want to get into it, this is going to be a great piece for you, because it's obviously written by somebody who's very passionate about that setting and has so much lore to give you. And what I would say is that so much of the content in this supplement is pick and choose. So you can pick a subclass, or you can pick a race or a feat or a spell and put it into any setting. So don't feel limited if you're not playing Scarred Lands, because you're going to get a great deal on this, and there could be lots of stuff in here that you can pull and use elsewhere, maybe in Theros or even Forgotten Realms. So looking at this, you can see just the sheer number of subclasses. I mean, there's 3 for the Barbarian, 4 for the Bard, 4 for the Druid, 5 for the Fighter, 5 for the Monk. I mean, it's every class here is represented under SRD. So we don't have any Artificer, but that's not allowed under SRD, so that's why. You've got races, Accursed, Hollow Legionnaire, Storm Goblin. Then you got a bunch of feats, equipment. I mean, look at all this equipment. Poisons, tons of poisons. Diseases, spells, lots of spells. And then you've got rituals, magic items. And then the tattoos. I mean, tattoos are really interesting, and there haven't been a ton of books that cover them. There was one that we covered on DriveThru, and then one, I think, 1 or 2 on DM's Guild. So outside of those 3 other books, this would be probably your only other option to get a ton of tattoos. Now, there's, ones and twos of those here and there, but to get a good assortment of the tattoos, this is gonna, I mean, look at this. It starts here 137, goes all the way to page 145. So tons of stuff, and then tons of boons. And remember, you can pull these boons out, use them elsewhere. Then of course you get the locations for Ghelspad, so that's going to be more specific for Scarred Lands. But again, you could always pull out just a location from the Scarred Lands and put it in your homebrew campaign. So I just want to emphasize that, because you're going to get a good deal on this. And I want to make sure that you seriously consider it, even if you're not running Ghelspad or Scarred Lands, although you should consider that too, because it's pretty fun. Here you go, just a summary of some of the classes, and then we get to see a little bit of it looks like the barbarian path of the Mauler. So it says the twisted and gigantic Slytherins, known as the Maulers, use various herbs and alchemical components to enhance their bodies beyond their natural limits. The process to create a Mauler was originally rather complicated and known only to but a few, and it frequently resulted in the recipient losing its mind. Since then, the formula has been refined so that Maulers keep their sanity after the ritual, and the city-state of the Walled Warrens is now protected by several of these elite warriors. And it looks like there's a prerequisite, so you have to be maybe the Slytherin race, it looks like, to get this one. And so starting at 3rd level, when you choose this path, you gain proficiency in alchemist supplies and the herbalism kit. Also at 3rd level, you can choose to enlarge yourself when you rage. This corresponds to the enlarged version of the enlarged reduced spell. And then you deal 1d4 additional damage as a result. At 6th level, your blood is filled with highly reactive chemicals. You gain a number of sorcery points equal to half your barbarian level, which you can use to activate the following effects. When you drink a magic potion that has a duration of 1 minute or more, you can spend a sorcery point to double its duration. When you roll 1 or more dice to regain hit points, you can spend as many sorcery points as you want and re-roll a number of dice. So that's good. You regain all sorcery points when you finish a long rest. And then at 10th level, when you reach that level, your blood was tainted by the corruption of the Titans. You can choose a minor gift option from the Titanic Corruption Sorcerer's Origin, and that doesn't provide access to a cantrip. You can use your sorcery points to cast the spells granted by your minor gift. You can't cast spells granted by your minor gift while raging, but you can still maintain your concentration on these spells. So just getting a little bit of spell action here from your corrupted blood, and referencing one of the other subclasses that are out there for the Scarred Lands, it looks like. So yeah, and that's just up to the 10th level. Then we get to 14th level. It says the taint that fills your blood keeps you alive at all costs. When you are enraged and take damage, you can spend a sorcery point as a reaction to gain resistance against the type of damage, against that type of damage until the rage ends, or until you activate this feature again, whichever is sooner. The resistance also applies to damage that has triggered the reaction. So gives you some protection. And then get right into the Path of the Mountain Lord, which has more lore, and the Path of the Tempest. So you're getting lore with each of these, which is nice to connect it to the Scarred Realms. But as usual, you can tweak some of these, remove the lore, put it in your homebrew setting, put it in Forgotten Realms, wherever you're campaigning. Because look at the sheer number of things in this book. I mean, the tattoos alone is worth the price, as far as I'm concerned. You got the spells, poison. I mean, it's jam-packed, and you're going to get it at 33% off, so you're not going to pay $14.95. You're going to get a good discount on it, and these discounts only last for about a week, so you want to take advantage. We're already part way through the week here, so make sure you click that first link in the timestamps for Ghelspad Companion, or look for it in the pinned comment under the alphabetical list under Ghelspad Companion. Give it a click. All right, next we have our first new release, which is Dalor's Guide to Devils and Demons from Burning Light Press. This was a Kickstarter that has now come to DriveThruRPG. For $14.99, you can get the PDF, or you can get a hardcover for $24.99, or both for $29.99. And it's for 5th edition, author Daniel James. And it says, I see you've come to learn a thing or two about the fiendish spirits that skulk and scheme across the realms, the violent demons and twisted devils that haunt cities and sprawl throughout the countryside. Well, you've come to the right place, for old Dalor has a thing or two to tell you, so open your ears before dark and violent creatures take them from you. It's a dangerous world out there, best to be prepared. This tome has been written over many moons and is littered with knowledge gained far and wide. It has been written to assist those that would stand against the horrors of the world, for knowledge brings with it great power. So, fun little flavorful feeling for this. It's going to be kind of infernal. You've got demons and devils, and you could use this with Avernus, or some of the over the years. I mean, we've been doing this for a while now, and we've covered some books that have sort of demonic settings, right? So you could use these there. You could work it into Ravenloft. Maybe there's a domain of dread that's particularly demonic, or you just want to have like an instance of something that's devilish in one of your campaigns. So lots of pick and choose items in here, which is nice. So you got 14 manipulative and malevolent devils, 14 violent and corrupted demons, 4 demonic cults, and a slew of devilish contracts, 11 accursed relics, the Hunter's Guild, and a new class called the Hunter, 4 twisted adventures for brave heroes to face, the realm of 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙧 in her horrid corner of hell, and the language of Suno, spoken by 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙧's followers. So quite a bit of stuff in the 127 pages here. So looking inside, you can see like the different parts of the book. You've got the devils, the demons, the fiendish foes, and then you get into that new class at the end as well. So nice layout, pretty cool design. I like all the little boxes. Makes it really easy to read stuff, and some fun artwork as well. So yeah, we're just scrolling through, now we're in the devil section here, and it talks about the devil hierarchy and then the summoning table, and you can see like the rank, and it says don't trust the lesser devil, avoid at all costs the greater devil, and flee for the archdevil. And then it's giving you kind of like a mini table of contents for them as well. So fun stuff. I like this. And then we get right into this one called the Vimp, which has a CR 1/2, and then there's a swarm of the Vimp for a CR 2. And then you got the Hoof Devil. Yeah, so you can see some really nice artwork, Savia, in here. So let's read about the Vimp a little bit. It says, a cousin to the treacherous imp, Vimps were first formed by the hands of 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙧 to act as loyal servants within her court. It is said the archdevil crafted the tiny fiends upon being betrayed by an imp that spied her plans to overthrow the great lord of hell. As punishment, 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙧 languished in an infernal prison for centuries before clawing her way back into her current place of power within the infernal hierarchy. The events have created a deep hatred for imps within her shriveled heart that still lingers today. With the blood of a vampire fed at ichor and an unwilling imp, Vimps are shaped and brought to life. While dim-witted creatures, what they lack in ability they make up for in their loyalty and blind obedience to the orders placed upon them by those under the command of 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙧. And then it goes into quite a bit of information about them, whether it's how they've got their names, and then their victims, and then contracts and summoning. So it says Vimps are one of the few devils that do not directly enter contracts with those they encounter. So that's good to know. And then it goes in, but they occasionally will harass or intimidate people into following under the sway of a devil. And they're one of the easiest to summon, requiring only the devil's true name to be spoken as a vial of ichor is poured over an open flame. Such an act will cause the creature to materialize above the fire instantly, with the summoning possible once per day. Without their true name, they cannot be summoned. So, I think that's really fun, and clean, easy to read stat blocks. I love that they have a swarm as well. We love swarms here, so really cool. And it's a good design because it has extra abilities as a swarm. It's got a screech ability, which is once per day, doing 14 psychic damage or 7 depending on where its health is at. So really cool. Love to see that. And that's just one of the fun creatures in here. There's so many cool creatures in here. And just every little bit we read has that sort of infernal feel to it, which is great. If you're trying to make these settings seem truly different than the real world or the material plane, things like this are going to help you, because this book is just dripping in that flavor for you. So I love it, and I love that you can get a print on demand. So check it out. It's under Daylor's Guide to Devils and Demons in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Deities of the Lost Lands, Volume 1, Gods of the Empires by Anthony Pryor and Vicky Potter. And it's also from Frog God Games. It's $19.99 for 76 pages. And because this is mostly lore focused, it's really system neutral. So 5th edition, OSR, wherever you want to use it, you can. And, you know, gods have not gotten a lot of attention in 5th edition from official sources. They'll get, you know, other than Theros, that book did deep dive a little bit, but outside of that, you usually get like a paragraph, right, about gods. So books like this that are just exhaustive amounts of lore are really, really cool, because one of the things, if you think back to mythology and ancient cultures, the gods were such an integral part of those cultures. So if you're trying to emulate anything like that with the worlds that you create, you're gonna need that intimate connection with gods. And so having so much knowledge about the gods that you're going to work into your campaign is really helpful. And some people, you know, they'll homebrew their own, but it's a whole pantheon is a lot to homebrew, right? So why not look for a book like this that has so much waiting for you and just already done, and then you can edit it, you know, you can change some things if you want, but it's good. It's going to have quite a bit of material for you to start with or completely incorporate. So this says more than 40 gods of the Lost Lands are presented in one place for the first time. Find herein detailed information on the deities of the 𝙭𝙪𝙧𝙧, as well as those of Hyperborea that remain actively worshipped or are otherwise important in this world today. So many of the most renowned gods from Frog God Games or Necromancer Games are in here, including Tyr, Mor, Mithras, and others. So really, really cool to see that. And yeah, just look at how many gods are here. It's a lot. It's a lot. And then there's an appendix on Orcus as well. So love that. And I'm just going to do a quick scroll here so you can see kind of overall how it looks and some of the detailed information. I mean, they're going into the cathedral cities and the deity for each of the cathedral cities. So yeah, if you're playing Lost Lands, this is going to be perfect, or any of the Frog God Games or Necromancer settings. It's going to be helpful. But I love it for the use of just pulling these out. I mean, they surely have different provinces that they're over, so you can pull them out and put them into your setting anytime you want, which is awesome. I like creating gods, but creating a whole pantheon, that's going to be a lot of work, right? So let's see here. It is worth noting that the very concept of a pantheon, the notion that gods can be organized into groups with their various powers and portfolios clearly defined, is an entirely mortal invention. So true. The gods themselves have no use for such an organizing principle and care not where they are or any other deity may be placed by the minds of mortals. That being said, for their worshippers, the concept of a pantheon provides a means to understand the roles of the various gods in the world, and for scholars it sets forth a schema for correlating the influence of the gods among various peoples and civilizations. This volume is concerned with those gods who worship and arose with the Hyperboreans who marched forth from Boros into Akados, including their incorporation with the gods of the 𝙭𝙪𝙧 into the new imperial pantheon of 𝙭, due to the far reach of the Hyperborean folk. However, some of the gods herein noted are also venerated by other peoples and have positions in their pantheons. Where this is the case, these other gods, or these other pantheons, are noted in the description of the applicable gods in Chapter 2. So they have an understanding, these authors understand how pantheons truly work and how they're a mortal invention, and how to let you know, okay, how do these connect, and to recognize that a god in one pantheon, like a human pantheon for a certain region, might be a god in a dwarven pantheon in another region, right? You just never know where there's going to be overlap, etc. And so they're on it. They're gonna give you that information. They're gonna, as I said, they're gonna connect it to the cathedral cities. So let's look at a little bit about the saints lore. So again, steeped in lore. I love this. And it even gives you sources down here. You can see at the bottom the sources, the connecting materials. So if you already have a lot of Frog God Games or Necromancer stuff, you can connect it. It says the saints, many-faced, have what could be called saints, divinely inspired heroes whose exploits serve to guide and inspire others. Some of these individuals may near the status of demigods, for they they are themselves worshipped and their blessings sought. The Hyperborean and Ďeardoeth face have their own rosters of divine and saintly individuals, and many are shared by both. A multitude of minor saints exist, and these are often revered on a local level or by a select handful of adherents. The most famous saints are recognized by almost every faithful worshiper. However, and several of those are listed here. So you got Saint Ďeardoeth, that's going to go into it. Ďeardoeth was one of the most celebrated of the Justicars of Moir and is said to have performed many great deeds. So you're going to find out about that saint. And yeah, lots of stuff. I mean, pages and pages and paragraphs on these gods. I mean, you're really going to be able to pick and choose what you want or use all of it. And I love that. I love that. To me, gods are one of the most fun parts of fantasy RPGs because, you know, in the real world, we don't have a lot of pantheons and things that we're dealing with, right? And so it's just such a different experience to see that in these games. And so I hope you check it out. And I mean, look at this gorgeous cover. How can you not want to own a copy of that? So look for it in the video description. It's under Deities of the Lost Lands 1. Give it a click. Next, we have Fanatic Devotion from Off-Grid RPG author 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙧𝙬𝙀 𝙀, who is a contributor to our Dragonlance companion. So very familiar with Daryl and excited to show you what Daryl's created this week. So we've got Fanatic Devotion, and it's for 5th edition, and it's designed to add a bit of fanaticism to your D&D campaign. So you've got the Paladin Oath of Undeath, an undead paladin that uses their unlife to protect others. You got the Fighter, Pious Knight, a fighter with the touch of the divine. And then you've got the all-new Penitent class with 2 subclasses, Penance of Obseisance and Penance of Flagellation, for those who have betrayed their gods and now want to make amends. And then you get 4 new items, including 2 evolving items designed for fanatics, and then 2 new spells. So we just looked at a book filled with gods, right? And then our Dragonlance companion has a ton of gods, right? So you can connect those to these classes where these characters are very fanatically devoted to. It looks like gods that they want to make amends to. There may be other things that they're fanatically devoted to. We're going to look inside the book in just a minute, but lots of connections, lots of ways to plug these in from what I'm seeing just in the description. So you got the Oath of Undeath and all the features for that, the Pious Knight, and then the Penitent is the new class. So it goes into all of the information for that, and then it looks like their subclass might be called Penance, and so you've got those as well. And then you get items of fanaticism and devotion. So you get Vespus, the Bound Tyrant, and the Unbound Tyrant, Necrosis, Great Sword of the Dread Reaches, and lots of fun stuff. And then some spells. So quite a bit of stuff for the $6.99 price, 23 pages here. And so we'll look at the Oath of Undeath here in just a second, but you get to see 2 full subclasses in the preview, which is helpful. So sometimes a choice is made at the moment of death, or sometimes a powerful undead offers someone the gift of eternal life. Whatever the case may be, the Oath of Undeath is a rare oath taken by very few paladins. At the moment they take their oath, their mortal life ends and their undeath begins. An Oath of Undeath does not make one evil. There are many gods that deal with the differently alive as their champions. To take this oath is to accept pain as your future. This is a dark path to take, and very few have the strength to walk the lonely paths of undeath through eternity. So I love the flavor of like undead and getting to maybe walk in that as a character. There aren't as many ways to walk in that in 5th edition as there are to play a living character or something not focused on undeath, right? So it's nice to see that there's another option here. They have tenets like Fight with Fervor, Preserve All Life, Devotion, and then you've got for the 3rd level, it says when you take this oath, any spells or effects that would normally do radiant damage instead do necrotic damage for you. Your undead body can no longer tolerate radiant energies, giving you vulnerability to radiant damage, and your creature type is undead, regardless of your original type. So that's fun. Changes your type, and the damage type is changing for you as well. When you take this oath at the 3rd level, you gain the following 2 channel divinity options. So you got necrotic weapon. As an action, you can imbue one weapon that you're holding with negative energy. For 1 minute, you add your charisma modifier to attack rolls made with that weapon, minimum of 1. The weapon creates a field of magical dark fog that obscures you and anyone within a 15-foot radius. To anyone outside that radius, you are considered behind half cover. And then Face of Dread is an action. You can choose up to 3 creatures within 40 feet of you that can see you and reveal your true face to them. The rotting horror beneath your flesh is revealed, and each target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save's DC. On a failed save, the target is horrified and flees for 1d4 rounds. And then it has to try to move away from you. And then you also get some spells. And then at 7th level, you can choose to channel radiant energy through your smites. Doing so will make them cause radiant damage to yourself as well, it looks like. And then you could do an additional 2 damage. It says plus the damage you took. So whatever damage you do to yourself gets added to 2 or 1d4, whatever you roll there, to the target, but as psychic damage. And then at 15th level, it increases. And then also at 15th level, your soul is necrotic miasma that extends outside your physical body. The invisible necrotic cloud grants you resistance to necrotic and poison damage. And then there's a necrotic soul effect here. So it says, it is also felt by anyone standing near you. Any target that starts this turn within 5 feet of you must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be affected by your necrotic soul. Roll the 1d4 on the table below to determine the effect. So the first one is target lose reactions for the turn, target gains or takes 1d4 necrotic damage, etc. So I'll let you read the others on your own, but really cool. And then there's a 20th level, you become a greater undead. You're immune to necrotic and poison damage and the poison conditions. You require no food or rest, and then you become harder to kill. Should you fail your death saves, you will instantly turn to dust. However, in 2d10 plus 4 days, your body will reform, granting you the benefits of a long rest. So very hard to kill you. That's cool. Yeah, fun stuff. We only read one. I want you to come back and read the other one as well. But it looks really fun. You can be undead basically and become even greater undead as you climb through the levels of that subclass. And that's just one. Like I said, there's other fanatical devotion oriented subclasses, a whole new class in here, items, spells, good stuff from Off-Grid RPG. So check it out. It's under Fanatic Devotion in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Indigo Isles Character Guide, and it is from Roll for Combat, which does lots of fun stuff, and it's on sale for $24.99, normally $30, and it's 113 pages. Lots of authors, including William Fisher, Stephen Glicker, Vanessa Hoskins, and more. And it says, discover the Indigo Isles. With the Indigo Isles Character Guide, you can explore hundreds of new options for your next character. It contains everything you need to become one with the Isles. You get 7 new playable races and familiars. So there's the Chochori, which are a unique race of people created from living coral. That sounds fun. 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙧𝙬𝙀 are devious and mischievous face sprites, so that could be fun to play as well. Parrot-like Gamayan, who almost fell to demonic corruption. And there's more. There's a porcupine Orpok and others. And then 7 new familiars, including the Astroloptree, which is cosmic bats, and the Shale Hatchling, baby shale spitters. And then overview of the gods of Alakar and its face system, the balance, a complete history of the balance, a face system based upon a family of gods who walk and interact with the world directly. And then a 25 full-page overview of each of the 25 gods found in the balance. Detailed rules and feats on becoming a pirate, full rules and details on the mysterious, powerful, and magical Old Woody, and multiple maps of the Isles. And I mean, look at this artwork. It is really, really well done. I mean, that's stunning. This one down here in the lower right is really cool with the little glowing stuff on it. All right, so looking inside, you can see it's got a fun layout, really cool border. And I mean, look at these little parrot folk. So adorable. And then this map is just unreal. I love this map. Really gorgeous. Look at that. And then you get right into the Chochori, which is the coral people, and lots of information about them. So you get quite a bit on their culture and their names, and then you get into their traits as well as their sub races, which is so great. And I mean, it even gives you 𝘽𝙤 adventures and alignment and religion. I mean, so many pages. Where do you get this many pages on a race? Just almost nowhere. Maybe the player's handbook, there's quite a few pages on some of them, but I mean, this is a lot. This is a lot. I love it. There's even 𝘽𝙤 backgrounds here. Yeah, I can't say enough about how much material they're giving you for the races. So if this is an indication, I mean, there's 7 in here. So can you imagine 7 races with this much detail? I mean, it just doesn't happen. You just don't get that in most 5th edition books. So so let's read a little bit about 𝘽𝙤. In 𝘽𝙤 society, there are many myths, legends, and tales of the race's birth, as they are storytellers with willing audiences with few common themes. Were 𝘽𝙤 created by the balance's deity of water, or perhaps they are older than the balance itself, the children of a powerful and ancient water element. While their earliest history is shrouded in mystery, 𝘽𝙤 keep excellent records of what has come after, making their undersea libraries inscribed into shell or other durable materials the envy of other aquatic civilizations. So, really cool. I like how they're referencing these other underwater races as well, because if you wanted to take the 𝘽𝙤 out of this setting and put it into, somewhere other than the Indigo Isles, whether it's, Forgotten Realms or wherever, you could have this sort of politics between the 𝘽𝙤 and the 𝘏𝑢𝑔𝑚, or, merfolk or whatever, right? Because they're the envy of it with their durable materials and libraries and stuff. So it says, while each 𝘽𝙤 is an individual, a 𝘽𝙤's body is made up of a network of nearly identical polyps with subtle differences that allow them to perform specialized tasks. Because of this plural nature, as a being composed of multiple interconnected selves working in harmony, 𝘽𝙤 are more likely than most races to be plural, a system of individuals sharing the same body. Oh, I love that. That's so cool. So you think about like a coral reef, right? And all the different little pieces of coral that are growing in there, right? And kind of becoming a singular entity in the sense that it is a reef as well as maybe the individual coral, right? So this concept is being applied here with this plurality of this race. I love that. So cool. What a great way to start. If you're watching this as a creator, take note, because this is something we try to do with our books, and you should try to do it with yours as well. Start strong. Make sure what you're showing in your preview is really some of the best material, because you want people to be so intrigued and love it that they're like, oh, I want to buy this, right? And people like me that come here and read this live on a show will get the best stuff and get to read it for an audience that might purchase, right? If you put filler stuff first, or you put stuff that you're less proud of, or that doesn't make much sense, or is complicated, or just whatever, you can't visualize it, it's gonna impact your cells. So learn from Roll for Combat here. So good job. All right, so even a whole section, like I said, on their names. I love that. So example names, Avar, Belcree, Urpo, and then they have accomplishment names like Banquet of Kings, Concert of the Flowing Tides. So that's cool. But let's look at some of their abilities. They get an ability score increase, of course. Age talks about alignment. Size, most 𝘽𝙤 are roughly the size of a typical human. Your size is medium. They get a speed. It says creatures of the sea 𝘽𝙤 are graceful underwater, but somewhat clumsy on land. Your base walking speed is 25 feet, and you have a swimming speed of 30 feet. Amphibious, you can breathe air and water. 𝘽𝙤, you have one of 7 𝘽𝙤, see pages 10 to 15, which can affect your feats. Hydration, though you are amphibious, your body requires you to return to aquatic environments at least once in a 24-hour period. You must submerge in water in order to rehydrate your water-acclimated skin. If you fail to do this, your skin begins to crack and your gills become painful. After the first 24 hours outside of water, you gain 1 level of exhaustion. After 48 hours, you begin to suffocate until return to water. So, got to keep that in mind. With don't want to go in too deep in a dungeon that doesn't have a river or something. Languages, you speak, read, and write Common and 𝘽𝙤, and then you have distinctive features based on the polyp or polyps from which they are born, completely distinct from the 𝘽𝙤 they will identify as their own later in life. Choose one of these subraces. So then you got the Depthfarer, which gives you dark vision and deep sea adaptation. You have resistance to cold damage, and you ignore hazards caused by deep underwater environments. So this is extreme water pressure or cold temperatures. Then you got Eld-Heart, Landwalker, Tendril Weaver, Wave Speaker. So 5 sub-races, it looks like. And then you get into 2 paragraphs about how they look, alignment and religion paragraphs, society paragraphs. Again, I love that you get so much information. You get information on their settlements and their backgrounds. I mean, you can't beat this. You got to find it. You gotta find it in the links below. You got to get it. This is going to be fun for you. I mean, that race is just really fun in terms of lore and concept. And that's just one. There's 7 in here. So look for it in the video description links. It's under Indigo Isles Character Guide. Give it a click. Next, we have the Spellbinder's Tome from Nerdy Vampire, $25 for 170 pages. 5th edition, author Meds E.R. Jacobson says, delve into the magical mysteries and discover the myriad masteries contained within this tome, each one certain to bring a breath of fresh air into your campaigns in whatever way you choose to use it. From giving deceitful devils a bargaining chip to giving your favorite NPC a way to show off their magical muscles and sending your pious pilgrims on a quest to recover the lost mastery for bringing their deity temporarily into the world. You get 170 pages filled with, at last count, 980 masteries ranging from uncommon to legendary, enough to ensure that you have tools to bring the magic of your world into play in another dimension of arcane and spiritual mastery. But you're asking, what is a mastery? Well, the masteries work as twists on existing spells, essentially turning it into an almost new spell. It might make the spell more harmful, more beneficial, more chaotic, or more story-oriented. For example, a simple mastery might allow you to use Create or Destroy Water as an offensive spell. Another allows you to, how do you say that? Offensive, not offensive. Offensive spell. That word is funny because it can have 2 different meanings, right? Whether you say offensive or offensive. So it's an offensive spell. Another allows you to chain several continual flames together. How cool is that? And have them react programmatically to the presence of others. More complex legendary spells can turn your conjured sharks into terrors of the sky. So you can see, I mean, this is twisting spells, making them do all kinds of different things. And this is from 400 people on Kickstarter that backed it, and it's going to be continued to be updated. So you want to grab this, and you'll get to see some tweaks over time as well, because this is version 0.99, so some of the artwork isn't here yet, but it's going to be uploaded as a replacement. And as always, you can go to my library up here in the upper right hand corner and get updated versions of your books. Search for updated versions. Sometimes you get like a message that there's an update as well, so you can always come back, and you can always just come back to this page, and it'll have, once you purchased it, the files will be shown here under the price, and you can just click on it and get the latest file as well. So don't let partial work scare you from getting it. It sounds like the only thing really missing is artwork. So looking inside, you've got information on how to incorporate the masteries, and then an index of all of them. I mean, so many different spells are covered here, that, you know, True Polymorph, Wish, True Seeing, Tree Stride. I mean, they're here, and we're going to look at a few of these masteries in just a second. But yeah, you get a good assortment to look at here. So what they've done with these masteries is they've assigned like a rarity to them, so that the DM can decide how to dole out these masteries. Are they just always there? How do you learn them? Is it just an NPC that uses them? Are they a reward, like a boon? Like, you know, maybe a god says, okay, you know, I'm going to make some of your spells more powerful as a thank you for your, you know, devotion, whatever, right? There's so many ways, but because their rarity is here, you can decide if you have like a tiered system of like, well, you do one thing for me, I'm going to unlock an uncommon for one of your spells. You do another thing for me, I'm going to unlock a rare, or, you know, level, right? Level can also play in with your rarities. That's what it's mostly used for. So anyway, let's look at animal friendship. So Bestial Domination is one of the uncommon masteries available. It says, if the animal friendship spell would end due to damage of you or your companions, you may roll an animal handling check as a reaction. The creature must roll a charisma save where the DC is the result of your animal handling check. If it fails this check, it does not escape the spell's effects. So yeah, it gives a little buff to that spell. And then another one that's uncommon is a harmonic bond. You and an animal affected by animal friendship gain the following benefits decided by the type of animal. Predator, you and the animal gain an additional +1 to attacks when attacking an enemy you are both flanking or while within 5 feet of each other. Prey, you and an animal gain +1 to AC while within 10 feet of each other. When performing a short rest in the vicinity of each other, you may restore an additional hit dice of health. So buffs there as well. And then you got Primal Trance, which is rare. You may once a day, as a 10-minute ritual, enter a trance, sharing the senses of an animal affected by animal friendship defect. If this trance, in this trance, you cannot control their actions, but you see the world as if you were them. When you waken from this trance, you gain the effects of a short rest and additionally have advantage on animal handling checks for the next hour. So buffs again, but further uses, taking the spell even further in terms of its beneficial nature. You've got natural development, legendary. If you successfully cast a spell on the same animal several times within the same duration, the effect increases as follows. Second casting, the creature gains temporary hit points. Third casting, you gain the ability to speak with the target. And fourth casting, the animal is now permanently charmed by you. So again, buff. Really fun ways to step that spell up and give it some different options. Yeah, I love it. And that was just one. There's alarm in here. You can look at all the options. Bane, Bless is going to be, popular one. Burning Hands, Charm Person. So be sure to click the link and come read what Nerdy Vampire has for you, because I think, the cover is gorgeous. They're going to be adding some more artwork. And you can just never have enough ways to twist these spells. Again, even if it's just a villain does some of these extra things and you're like, well, how did that character's animal friendship work that way? Mine doesn't work that way. And then there's a whole quest to learn that, right? So check it out. It's under Spellbinder's Tome in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Unearthed Spoils, number 12 from Grimm Press. And it's called Worlds Apart. And it's $9.99 for 31 pages. Author Sandy Lawson. It says, spells for the Cosmos, 6 new spells for traveling between worlds and on them as well. Cleric archetype Cosmos Domain. Fascinated by the night sky as a child, these clerics make stargazing a serious business. Sorcerer archetype Celestial Warden, self-appointed wardens of wild space. These sorcerers have druid-like powers. Background Starfarer. Here's a background for a real-world traveler, and the magical items for this world and that. 9 nifty cosmic keepers that might come in handy exploring new worlds. Creatures between worlds, 8 NPC, and 2 vehicle stat blocks to add to your interstellar games. 4th level adventure, The Flight of the 𝙭. An ambitious captain needs security for off-world flight to mine and a rare material near a distant starport. So that would be a fun adventure as well to help this ambitious captain. And then you get to see some of the artwork here inside and the maps. And I love the artwork for the items. It just looks particularly good. And also, it doesn't say Spelljammer because this is outside of DM's Guild, but really this stuff can work with Spelljammer. It's just saying, space, using this in space, right? So that they can publish outside of the guild. But imagine using this as we look at it for Spelljammer. You can create your own kind of space setting as well, but I think it's good for Spelljammer as well. So it says spells for the Cosmos. You've got Atmosphere Bubble, Comet, Star Whip, Ularic's Undulating Appendages, and then you get into the Cosmos Domain down here. And the Sorcerer archetype, the Celestial Warden, and then the background, the Starfarer, and then here's some of the magical items. So we'll look at one of the spells and one of the magic items, but you're going to see quite a bit here. So let's look at one of these magic items. Ring of Safekeeping sounds interesting. It's a wondrous item, rare. This ring does not use up an attunement slot since it bonds to an item and not the wearer. Choose one item you are attuned to and bond this ring to that item in the same way you would attune to it. Once the items are bonded in this way, you can speak a command word to make both the ring and the bonded item invisible and undetectable. You can speak the command word again to reverse this process. When you become unconscious, the ring activates as if you spoke the command word to make the ring and its bonded item invisible. If you die, the ring becomes unbonded from the item and both become visible. The magic used to create this effect is equivalent to a 5th level spell for the purpose of dispelling its effect, and it is not detectable by a 3rd level spell or lower. So I like that. That's interesting. It's bonding and attuning kind of with another item. Fun. Yeah, and it hides stuff for you. Really cool. Let's go back up here and pick a spell to look at. I like Uleric's Undulating Appendages. It's a 4th level necromancy, and it's 30 feet, 1 action, instantaneous. Warlock or wizard can cast it. You create 3 writhing midnight blue appendages that bulge and flex within a dark mist. Make 3 ranged spell attacks against up to 3 targets within range. For each successful attack, the target takes 3d8 necrotic damage and must succeed on a dex saving throw or have an appendage attached to them for 1 minute. At the start of its turn, the target takes 1d8 necrotic damage for each growth it has attached to it. The target can use an action to remove 1 appendage. So yeah, you're putting these, you're doing necrotic damage, and you're causing these appendages to sort of appear, which is really fun. And it also has that feeling of cosmos, because we often think of like sort of eldritch aberration stuff with cosmos as well. I think this is a lot of fun. I think it fits well with Spelljammer or your own custom setting. Even on land, some of these could work. That magic item didn't have to be in space. So very cool. Good price. Unearthed Spoils 12 in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we've got Uncharted Journeys. Undertake dangerous journeys and uncharted lands with this rule supplement for 5th edition from Cubicle 7 Entertainment, $29.99. A bunch of authors, including Emmett Byrne, Alex Cahill, Dominic McDowell, Josh Corcoran, and Cody Falk. Sorry if I mispronounced any of those. It's 294 pages, and Cubicle 7 is one of the preeminent third-party publishers. They do such great work. They've got The Doctors and the Daleks. They've got Adventures in Middle-earth. They've done Victoriana. And, so they are a force to be reckoned with, and their stuff is so fun. I have a number of their books on my shelf, and so I definitely want you to pay attention when these significant publishers put out stuff, because we need to always make sure we're supporting them, keeping them going, because we want stuff that looks this great to be able to enjoy as we play our hobby, right? So it says, undertake perilous journeys as your intrepid party blazes new trails across strange and uncharted lands. Strike out across unforgiving tundra and forge your path through deadly jungles as you battle to reach your destination. Experience travel in 5th edition as never before with thousands of possible encounters. Meet strange and unforgettable characters along the road and uncover lost and forgotten ruins. Expand your 5th edition experience with new character abilities. Your journey starts here, which is great. It's Uncharted Journeys, and it provides a wealth of information, rules, and encounters to make travel a key part of 5th edition. So travel is kind of something that is neglected, I would say, in the official sources for 5th edition. So when third parties try to cover it and give you a way to make it interesting, I'm excited by that, because it can be one of the most boring parts of your adventure, but it's a necessary part, right? So I love that people are out here trying to make it interesting, and we've looked at some attempts to do that, but this one is the most exhaustive one we've ever seen, and I really think it's probably the best, but I haven't played any of them yet, so the jury's still out, but I suspect this one's up there, because it's just the sheer amount of material. It says easy to understand rules for journeys and exploration. It says set the route to your destination and determine how long and how dangerous the journey will be. Prepare by gathering supplies, securing mounts, and resting before the long road ahead. And finally, make the journey and experience strange and unique encounters along the way, and be forever changed by your experiences. So there's this thing called roles that they've come up with, where for the journey to be successful, basically the party needs to organize a little bit into these roles. So you've got Outrider, Quartermaster, Sentry, and Leader. So each has a unique ability that can be the difference between success and a failure on these treacherous paths you travel. It says advice on which classes are best suited to which roles, new ways to create unique and interesting travelers you meet on the road, rules for creating countless ancient ruins that your party can discover, almost 2,000 journey encounters across 16 different regions, including huge cities teeming with people, and a custom character sheet and journey chronicle to keep a record of all your adventures. So they really, I think, thought of every little thing that you could possibly do with travel, and they made sure to cover it. So this could literally be the book for travel in 5th edition. And I love that. And they're showing pictures of a hardcover, so I do hope eventually the hardcover is available. It might be available on the Cubicle 7 website. Probably is. So you might want to check that as well. But let's look inside. So as I said, it goes through the roles, then it goes through the classes and how those connect to travel. Then it goes through the journey rules and the different ways that you change how journeys are handled and travel is handled in 5th edition, and who the people you might meet along the way and generating those, ancient ruins, generating those. And, you know, if you're a creator and you're trying to create your own adventure, either for publishing or just for your own homebrew table, these generators are always some of the most valuable things you can purchase. So keep an eye for that, and it's here as well. Encounters, lots of encounters, can never have enough of those as a DM. So very cool. Introduction, all of that, and then roles. So goes through some of those. We're going to look at those in just a minute, but I just look at how gorgeous this stuff looks, this artwork, the background. There's kind of like a travel map background, and then you've got some just really nice spot art and introductory art to the chapter, and then some flavor even about being on the road. So they've done really a beautiful job laying this out as well. So this is the total package from what I can tell. All right, so roles talks about how you have to have cooperation and understanding from all the members of the party. So let's just find out about what these 4 different roles are. So the leader is a confident and wise party member who is capable of organizing and encouraging the team to persevere through challenges they would otherwise not surmount. Then you got the outrider, who scouts ahead of the group. They are responsible for finding safe routes and tracking threats to the party. Quartermaster is responsible for maintaining and finding food and supplies for the party. They ensure the group is well equipped and the supplies are readily available after a hard day's journey. The Sentry is the eyes and ears of the party. They keep watch over the group and their surroundings and are often the first to spot danger. So they have a role ability. We'll get to that in a minute. But already, what I'm noticing is typically travel is just very passive. Oh, you're going down the road, this happens to you. You're reacting. But here, what I can see is they've oriented these roles to be very active. Even if it's just in your mind, you're saying, oh, I got to focus on finding food for the party, or I got to find the best route, or whatever. It's engaging you mentally in this sort of forward motion, this active state, right? And that's important, because when you're active, you're paying attention, you're engaged in the events of the table. When you're passive, it's really easy to just look at your phone or just wander off in your mind. And so I like that they've oriented these roles toward an active state of mind. So let's just read a little bit more about one of the roles here. So we'll just go with leader, since it's the first one. The leader's primary goal is to keep up the party morale and lead their allies to safety. Leaders are typically wise and have a strong spirit. They may often do the talking for the party, but can also be a keen strategist who devises plans to tackle challenges the party may face. A calm and level-headed leader can excel at negotiating conversations and labyrinths alike. Inspirational resolve. You inspire your allies and lift their spirits, driving them forward to push beyond their limits. As a reaction, so here's your special feature, basically, as this role. As a reaction, while on a journey, so only on the journey, you can allow another party member to re-roll a failed saving throw or ability check. You can do this once per party member per journey. So I like that. Doesn't break the game. Seems appropriate that you would inspire somebody else in your party if you're the leader, and it's going to help you on the journey because it has to do with a saving throw or ability check you're making along the way. And this is group travel check. You can make one of the following checks during the group travel check step of a journey. So outward confidence, you are a bastion of hope and optimism to those around you. Make a persuasion check to inspire others for the journey ahead. Inward resolve, you look inward, steeling yourself for what is to come and the trials you must face. Make an insight check to prepare yourself for the journey. A song in your heart, you sing a song or tell a tale of heroic travelers on an epic quest. Make a performance check or an ability check with any musical instrument to fill your allies' hearts with hope and heroism. So there's a group travel check section in the rules, and so those would be the ones. And I like that we're talking wisdom or charisma, so that gives you some options there. So obviously, like a bard would be a good choice for this leader role, but they have a whole section on that as well. But I like that there's at least 2 different ability scores here. It's not just all charisma. So good job. And we're not going to read all of them. I want you to come here. I want you to read it yourself and consider purchasing it, because as I said, Cubicle 7 is no joke. They put out some of the best stuff. I really think they're one of the better third-party publishers. So I'm always interested in what they're up to, and I hope you are too by proving it. Come here and click the Uncharted Journeys link in our video description so you can grab this awesome book. All right, well, before we talk about more books, I just want to take a minute to talk about gift certificates. It's that time of year where everybody's thinking about gifts for various holidays that they want to give people with, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever, birthdays. My birthday's this month. So wherever you want to give gifts, here's a very viable option for you. DriveThru and DM's Guild both have gift certificates. I'm going to link them in the video description. If you click those links, you're going to help us too, because we'll get a small affiliate fee from your click. But it's cool because they have all these denominations. You can give a $5 gift certificate, $15, $10, $20, $25, $50, $100. And everybody who comes to these sites has a wish list. They click on products, add them to their wish list. So if you give somebody a gift certificate, maybe they'll finally be able to get something off their wish list. Maybe you have a DM who's really worked hard for you that you want to repay in some way. And this is going to actually support them being a DM as well, because they can use the materials they buy from DriveThru or even Dungeon Masters Guild. They've got them as well. You can use those to support that hobby. Keep in mind that whichever one you buy, it says redeemable at Dungeon Masters Guild, right? So if you buy a $100 gift certificate for DM's Guild or the $100 one for DriveThru, it's going to be just for that site. So definitely take note of which site when you're making your purchases. I am going to link both in the video description, but I think this is fun. Also, if you have somebody who's like you've been talking to and telling them, hey, you got to go see this book at DriveThruRPG, or you got to go see this DM's Guild book, and they're like, yeah, I will, and they just never do it. Well, if you buy them a gift card, then they're leaving money on the table if they don't skedaddle over to these sites and check it out, right? So I think it would be a really good idea to get these for people, whether it's a DM who's helped you, a player who's been particularly spectacular, maybe all your players, or just somebody you've been trying to get to support third party. There's people that just don't pay attention to third party, and this is a way to get them to pay attention. Especially larger denominations, they're not going to turn down $50, $100. They're going to find a way, and maybe through the act of spending this gift certificate, they will become a fan of these sites and start supporting these creators, and maybe even allow you to play some of these things if you're a player, right? So definitely consider it. We've got lots of options. As I said, I've got links for both Dungeon Masters Guild and DriveThruRPG. Makes a great stocking stuffer or gift for your friend out there. So give it a click. Well, that was our last new release for one of the sites. Before we move on to the second site, a few announcements for you. First of all, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave us a comment. All those things help us get the word out. More people find the videos and get to know about all these great releases if you can do that. And I'll respond to all comments personally. If you can click those links in the video description and support all these awesome creators that we featured this week, that really helps them. This business is tough, so you want to help encourage them to stay in it and creating these awesome titles for you to enjoy and bring to your table. And if you click any of those links and make a purchase, even if we didn't talk about it today, it's going to help support the channel through a small affiliate fee. So we really appreciate it when you do your shopping with us. That's awesome. And if you really want to take it to the next level to support us, you can purchase one of our books. You can go to splinterverse.com to read more about all of those, or click the links in the video description in the section we have on our books. And I'll just tell you about a few of them here now. So our latest one is the Dragonlance Companion. It's 180 pages for DMs and players to really get into Krynn. Everything from subclasses to races, including classic ones like Draconians and half-ogres and Thanoi, as well as 2 full-blown adventures, a tier 1 and a tier 2 that you can link together for a full campaign. We've got monsters, magic items, encounters, new types of items like legacy items, and even herald items that are connected to the gods, which we profile in massive detail so that you can use the piety system to really interact with the gods. So there's just so much to be found in there for Dragonlance and Krynn if you're into that, or if you want to take these things and put them in another setting, of course. And it's available in print as hardcover or digital, or you can get both for this combo price, where there's no extra charge for the digital. So that's always very cool. Then we've also got Swarms of the Multiverse, which is over 180 pages dedicated to brand new monsters that have some sort of connection to swarms, whether it's they form swarms, they summon swarms, or they control swarms. Each of the 70 new monsters in this book have some sort of connection, and we give them lots of space in the book. Each monster gets a minimum of 2 pages, so you get lots of lore, you get tactics, you get a playlist of the moves that they would use on their stat block. So if you want to quickly run it without reading too much, you can just go through the playlist. We've also got associated things like magic items that are connected to some of the creatures, demiplanes, full demiplanes that you can explore with some of these creatures as well. Then we've got rules for you to create your own swarms that are balanced for 5th edition, so that's really helpful. And then we have other types of swarms, like environmental swarms that don't even have hit points, but are more like hazards or puzzles that your party will have to pass through on their way to whatever the next adventure is. So tons and tons of stuff to really bring swarms to life and help you make a swarm out of any creature, whether it's third party or an official Wizards release. You'll be able to confidently make those swarms using those balanced rules. And again, it's print or digital. Then we've also got our platinum bestsellers here with the Feywild Companion, which is over 150 pages devoted to the Feywild, the plane where everything is Fey, and it's really a fun place to explore. It's a little bit different than the material plane, so you can have a really unique experience that kind of turns things on its head. And this fits well with Wild Beyond the Witchlight or any other Fey experience that you want to have. It's got player subclasses, one for each class that connects to the Fae. It's got magic items, races, lineages. It's even got trinkets, a new type of item called Flowers of the Feywild, which is a new consumable that helps you really feel like you've gone to a fantastical place. But these flowers can be used as a consumable item or like an environmental hazard, which is fun. We got a brand new Domain of Delight with a beautifully illustrated map in the same style as the one in Wild Beyond the Witchlight for Prismeer. We've got full adventures, encounters, monsters. I mean, it's just jam-packed. VTT tokens, all that stuff if you buy the digital, but it's also available in print as well. So you're going to want to check that out. Then there's also our other platinum bestseller, Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets. It's devoted to dragons. It's meant to tie into Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, but it can be used on its own. So you've got dragon-themed subclasses, one for each class. You've got trinkets. You've got magic items, you've got horde magic items, draconic gifts. So those things that are in Fizban's, we're expanding and giving you more. So you have more draconic gifts and more horde magic items. You get a brand new familiar, adventure hooks to tie everything together from the DM point of view, so you can make those subclasses NPCs or whatever you want to do. So it's really, really good. It's going to be a hardcover soon. So by the time you watch this, it might already be a hardcover. So you can get the hardcover and or the digital as well. Then we've got our Van Richten's Librum of Lineages, which is devoted to the new concept of lineages that was introduced in Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. And it's really fun. It makes your race basically something very personal to you, because lineages are something that is sort of thrust upon your character. It's not how you were born. It's an experience that you've gone through, and it's changed you. And so these are very conflict-driven lineages, suitable for any setting, not just Ravenloft. Got 4 of those in there, and then we've got optional rules on how to string those together, so you can go from one lineage to the next, or you can remove a lineage if there's some reason you want to go back to the original race, or just for story purposes you want to remove it. You have that option with this book. And then we've got Potions Unlocked, which is print or digital, and it's over 100 pages, and it's really devoted to taking potions, which are kind of a run-of-the-mill thing where you just say, oh, I'm going to take a healing potion, oh, I'm going to take a healing potion, and make them fun again. It's got optional rules for taste, smell, overdosing on these potions, how to craft the potions. Even with the 30 new potions in here with really cool artwork, we've gone and given you really in-depth origin stories for each of them, that you can have a vendor relate to the players, or you can turn it into an encounter if you want to have the players be responsible for the creation of some of these potions. We even have potion-themed locations, including a potion shop with 2 different stories and a whole set of maps, so you can go to each of the layers of the potion shop, different vendors that are profiled with full inventory lists, a school where you can learn to craft potions and experience various encounters and adventures. And then we've got magical plants and things that you can craft, harvest and craft your potions with. So tons and tons of stuff. The whole point of the Potions Unlocked, or any of the unlocked titles that we're going to do, is to really take something and take it to its limit, give you everything you could ever want, to be the authority on that topic almost, and just really deep dive. Our Swarms book is the same thing. It's anything you could ever want on Swarms. So if you're getting these books, we feel like you're going to have everything you could ever ask for that topic, and that's our goal for you, because we really want the money to go as far as it can, because we do try to keep our prices reasonable, and then by giving you everything we can, we're helping you have that for far into the future. You're going to have the ability to have potions or swarms or whatever our topic is come to your aid at your table. So we hope you'll support us and check out all these awesome titles. Feel free to ask questions in the comments or anywhere if you're interested and unsure. I'm always here to help you. But no matter what, I hope you're clicking links, supporting creators, whether it's us or the others out there, because this is an awesome industry. We're so proud to be part of the TTRPG space, and we appreciate you. So now let's move on to the other site and their new releases. Our first DM's Guild title this week is Bullywug Species Option from Serious Wisness. It's 75 cents and 2 pages for this really fun race. It says the multiverse is teeming with heroes of all kinds. Serious Wisness presents the Bullywug, a fantastical species option. Bullywugs are a species of humanoid frog folk who possess the ability to leap to incredible heights. Bold and brash Bullywug adventurers will often heroically jump into dangerous situations to protect those that need their help without a moment's hesitation. So really fun artwork on the cover. I always enjoy the artwork from Serious Wisness. This appears to be by Jake France, so good job with that artwork, and you can see it again here. Again, great job. I think this is going to be a really cool option if anybody wants to bring some frogs and frog-like stuff to their campaigns. Be great for like a Feywild situation, or really anywhere where you want to have some amphibian action. So it says character species, and starts giving you the basics, the ability score increases, languages, all that stuff, creature type, lifespan, and then you get into more about the Bullywug. So it says Bullywug are species of frog folk that can trace their origins to the myriad swamps and marshes throughout the many worlds of the material plane. Throughout their history, many bullywugs have ventured beyond the boggy borders of their homes, driven by an intense curiosity in search of excitement and adventure. Such bullywug adventurers are often bold and confident in their abilities and have a habit of leaping into danger without considering the consequences. So that's a great thing to role play. You can have your character just sort of oh, let's fight, let's go, let's do this, and everybody else like, what are you doing? We need to talk about this, right? And maybe even in some cases fire first, right, and then dealing with the anger of the party later. So could be a interesting angle to roleplay. And as it says, they're pretty much anywhere in the material plane on a bunch of worlds, so you can plug this race in on Forgotten Realms, Krynn, wherever. All right, so creature type humanoid. You're medium or small, walking speed 30 feet, breathe air and water. And then you have bite. You can use your large mouth and powerful jaws to make unarmed strikes. When you hit with it, the strike deals 1d6 plus your strength mod bludgeoning damage instead of the bludgeoning damage normal for an unarmed strike. So you get a stronger unarmed strike. You get camouflage. You have the innate ability to alter the color of your hide to better match your surroundings. When you make a stealth check to hide, you add a d4 to the results, and then when you make a stealth check to hide in swampy terrain, you roll a d6. So that's good, and that also makes sense, right? Frog hops. You can use a bonus action to turn on your turn to grant yourself the following benefits. So your jump distance gets doubled every 2 feet you clear, while jumping costs you only 1 foot of movement. And if you would take damage from falling due to a jump you make, you can subtract up to a number of feet equal to 10 times your proficiency bonus for the fall when calculating the fall's damage. So all of that makes sense. You're hopping, you're a frog. So cool. And then you can communicate with simple frogs and toads. They can understand the meaning of your words, though you have no special ability to understand them in return. And then there's some feats in here, which I'm not going to read. I want you to come read these as well. But you've got stretchy tongue and superior hops, which is nice. A lot of times when you get new races, you only get 1 racial feat, so it's nice to see 2 here. And then there's even a sidebar on dealing with jumping and frog hops and all of that, long jumps, high jumps, etc. So as usual, Serious Wisness has you covered for whatever they release. They always give you that extra so that it feels fully fleshed out, and that you're getting everything you need. And what a great price. I mean, only 75 cents to get this great art, get all those feats, and the race that you can use on almost any world. I love it. So look for it under Bullywug Species Option in the links below. Give it a click. Next we have Horrors of Mount Throndor. Uncover a lost dwarven city and face its hidden horrors. So this is an adventure from Dave Coulson. It's $14.99 for the PDF, but you can also get the hardcover standard color for $34.99 or both for $39.99. And it's 200 pages. So it says, many centuries ago, the dwarven kingdom of Sarfhill stretched out across the Galena Mountains east of the Moon Sea. They dug for the precious metals hidden beneath the rocky terrain, and they established numerous cities and settlements to aid in their excavation and manufacturing efforts. This was during the early days of Myth Drannor, the elven kingdom in the forest of Cormanthor, and the dwarves and elves initially clashed as each sought resources and expanded their territories. Myth Drannor and Sarfhill eventually settled their differences, and many dwarves moved into the elven city to offer their services and expanded their knowledge. So it says an enterprising dwarven leader wants to find out what happened under Mount Throndor, and she's going to need some help from a band of heroes. So it's exploration, darkness, and terror in this adventure, featuring a lost dwarven city overrun by forces from the far realm, and the journey to cleanse it once and for all. And it's designed for a group of 11th level characters, and a successful completion will take you to basically 16th level. So fun. I like that it's that, tier 3, 4-ish area. You don't see a lot of those. And here, there's a cool little hex map of some of Mount Throndor here. And really, really cool. This author has done a bunch of books on the guild. I'm just scrolling past some of the titles here. A lot of planner books, which are really nice. I got the hardcover of this one, the Codex. It's pretty cool. And let's look inside. So you've got it looks like 5 different parts to the adventure, and then some appendices with exploration procedures, new magic, and some monster statistics. And you get to see 20 of the 200 pages. But I think it's just so great that this adventure is 200 pages. I mean, that's just a massive, massive amount of information for your adventure. So I love that. So we'll find a good spot to read. But first, I just want to scroll through and show you how cool it looks. It's got a really nice layout, some fun artwork throughout. And it's nice that you have the print on demand option. You know, print on demand is rare at DM's Guild. So even just from a collectability standpoint, I think it's good to get the print on demands. You know, you're not going to find them out there at a lot of used bookstores, right? So I think it's a nice thing to build the collection and have something that's harder to come by. So let's look at this little section here. It says, Great Old One Warlocks. It is possible one or more of the characters in the party are warlocks who have made pacts with the Great Old One, otherworldly patron. It is important to note which Great Old One the warlock has made their pact with, which may be Great Cthulhu. As Great Cthulhu features prominently in this adventure, it's important to take into consideration how a warlock would approach the events. So that's cool. You're going to have potential connections with the patron of a warlock in your party. So yeah, that's really cool. And you're getting such history in here too. I can see that there's a lot of history of Mount Throndor. It says, to the outside world, Mount Throndor has been an enigma for thousands of years. No one really knows what happened inside, and no one has been able to successfully penetrate the sealing world to gain access. Most people have forgotten about the site or written it off as an unknowable mystery. 𝙒𝙬𝙧𝙬𝙬 has been able to piece together what is known about Mount Throndor, but that information is collected from before the fall. She wants to know what happened and to assert her claim as the rightful heir to Clan Drakehelm, but she worries about what really happened so long ago. As the characters enter Mount Throndor and explore its ruined wonders, they have several opportunities to learn about what really happened. There are only a few NPCs inside who can offer details, and piecing together what happened becomes key to understanding how to reverse it. So I love this. I love mysteries. I love history. And this is combining both of those things. So you can have the characters sort of wander through this and meet various NPCs, but only a few of them. And then it's up to them to say, okay, that goes with this, which means this happened. And that explains, you know, the missing time basically. And yeah, they can do what they want with that, take it to 𝙬𝙬, or, you know, somehow use that information. Maybe it's going to help them battle the enemies inside here. But you can see so much information. I mean, we went page 17, and so the first 17 pages are really just gearing you up, giving you all that background to get you started for the adventure, which is so nice to have so much stuff. And then you get right into the adventure here, and it says chapter 1 overview. The adventure opens with the party meeting with 𝙬𝙬 in a location convenient to the characters. The setting itself isn't important and can occur in almost any location in Faerun. 𝙬𝙬 has the resources to travel freely and is willing to go wherever to meet with her chosen accomplices. Once their meeting has commenced, 𝙬𝙬 lays out her problem and plan to the party. The first challenge is to retrieve the ward stone necessary to bypass the powerful shield blocking access to the interior of Mount Throndor. So before they can even get into this mountain, they're going to have to find this ward stone. So I like this. I like that, okay, there's a problem. We know the solution, but the party has to get this thing. They have to get the ward stone. So it's nice. The author's making the party kind of central to the action. Sometimes you read an adventure and the parties are kind of like bystanders, and that's just not going to lead to, I think, the most fun the table can have, because they want choices. They want to be involved in the decision making, and so putting them in the middle is really cool. So I like this a lot, and I'm thrilled that there's a print on demand option. So I think you should seriously consider this if you're looking for an adventure, especially one at 11 to 16 area of levels. So check it out. Horrors of Mount Throndor in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Manual of Gainful Exercise D&D Subclass Workouts from Steve Hahn and DM Steve, and it's $368. It's already a best gold seller in its first week, and it's 104 pages. And it says the Manual of Gainful Exercise is a collection of over 100 workouts, each based on a 5th edition subclass. Each has varying intensities and styles ranging from stretching and mobility to gymnastic strength to metabolic burners to power Olympic lifting complexes. So something for everybody, you know, whatever kind of workout you want to do. I mean, there's 119 of them in here, plus 14 additional ones, and they've all been tested. And it says an introduction, common modifications for beginners, and a section on why the author wrote this, tables organizing workouts by subclass, challenge rating and location, and a glossary on the fitness terms. And then, you know, I said it's $3.68, but there's also opportunities down here to get it 50%, 90%, and 100% off if you just not happen to be able to afford it. So I wouldn't use those if you can afford it, because we do want to support all the authors on these sites. But if you can't, this is a great option, and I really appreciate seeing that, because there are people that maybe cannot, and so that's very nice to see. All right, so we get to look inside. We get to see basically the whole book in the preview, and yeah, it's got so much on advice for beginners. So this can really get you into an exercise routine. So many of us, you know, have sedentary jobs. We have, you know, even the game that we're playing, unless we're LARPing, tends to be very sedentary, right? So this could be a way to connect something you love to a new hobby or a new activity, or just something that you're doing for your health, which is working out, right? And so you can say, oh, I want to work out, but I'm not feeling it. So how can I make it interesting to myself? Well, why don't I tie it to D&D, and maybe by looking for some of my favorite subclasses, I can mix it up, try some different exercise, and just get the body moving, getting that blood flowing. Even a little bit of exercise is so good for you. And another thing people don't realize is that exercise is also good for your mental health. It's not just good for your physical health. When you get that blood pumping, you get more energy, you get you just feel better about yourself, right? So enough about my thoughts on exercise. Let's look at this book. But it's cool that you can see the whole thing. You can see it's all hyperlinked. So Steve's got it so that if you want to do, you know, the Bard College of Spirits, you can just click that. And then there's a summary here, you know, kind of description and the location of where you would do this, either home or the gym. And then the challenge rating to show you, which is a great adaptation of the challenge rating system to show you the difficulty level. Because, you know, if it's 14, that's going to be a harder challenge than a challenge 1. So, or, you know, something lower. So you can look through here and find one that's a lower one for you to start with. You know, here's a 4 to 6 you could do. There's 5s in here. There's a 2. So it gives you a range of intensity as well. And then I love that it says gym or outdoors or home or outdoors, etc. So you know, okay, I would need access to a gym for this one, right? And there's a good mix. There's home, there's outdoors. Yeah, so you should be able to find something regardless of whether you have access to a gym or not. It says CR is determined primarily by how much effort a workout took me personally to complete, keeping in mind any highly technical movements which increase the CR. I've included this if you're feeling anxious about the difficulty, technicality of some of these workouts. And then there's modifications too, so you can change that difficulty. And then, of course, the location. So I'm going to go past some of the tables here, but it's great to have them indexed in so many ways. All right, so Alchemist is the first one. It's the CR 7 and 9 for Artificer. It says roll 1d6 on each table to construct your experimental elixir. Reroll to get a unique row for each table, or choose if you have a workout intensity in mind. So, you know, we'd roll 1d6 down here, and it says, you know, if you roll a 1, you get 16 lunges. If you roll a 2, you get 50 mountain climbers, 20 push-up holds, etc. And then there's another d6 table, which would give you 20s plank, exercise, 5 kettlebell swings, etc. And then it says 3 minutes table 1, 3 minutes table 1 plus 2, 3 minutes, table 1 plus 2 plus 3, 3 minutes, table 1 plus 2, all the variations. And then you can mix and match the tables. Like you could roll 3 times on table 1, it looks like, or you could roll on once on each table, or once on one table and twice on another, however you want to mix it up, basically, to get all these options. But you can see exercise from 1 through 6 follow the rough order. So you have healing, active rest, swiftness, finish fast, resilience, active hold, boldness, DB compound, flight, jumping, transformation, DB power move, isolation. So yeah, that seems like a decent workout. You get your blood flowing, you'll be breathing harder, really just get your body engaged. And then they've got armorer, artillerist, battlesmith. I mean, all of those well-known artificer subclasses are covered here, which is really cool. And then you get into the barbarian, and you've got 3 times 5, approximately 50 to 70% max, or just barbell, bench press, overhead press, squat, bent over rows, deadlift, cool down, scorpion stretch, lying with knees. Just getting even these workouts, just getting a couple of these, you can pay a lot of money for. You can pay a trainer, you can pay all of this to get these little ebooks. You'll see a lot of YouTube fitness gurus offering ebooks and stuff, and you get just maybe 10 workouts or whatever. This is so many workouts. And yeah, I really think this is gonna help some people to engage in fitness, because then they can say, hey, I tried the School of Transmutation one. Have you tried that one? Oh no, but have you tried School of Evocation? Talking with their friends, maybe trying these different ones, and really making it a social activity. Maybe the whole party can do some of these together. It could maybe be how you warm up for your table, and getting started. I think that could be really fun. Show up 30 minutes early. We'll do a quick workout together outside or whatever. School of Evocation. The DM can be this sort of class teacher maybe, or somebody else who's more interested. Exorcist can lead everybody, whatever, right? And get the blood flowing, get you feeling better about being stationary for the next few hours as you play through Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm so happy to see something like this on the DM's Guild, and sort of extending what we think of could be on here. Because this does have a deep connection to Dungeons and Dragons. Every single workout is connected to a subclass, right? And then there's die rolling and all of that stuff. So some of the mechanics even are involved. So, and there's elixirs and all that, right? So I love that. I hope others start thinking of ways to do similar kind of titles that expand the thinking, because in this particular case, it's not only going to be fun to read, but it's going to help you health-wise, and I love that so much. So check it out. It's in the links below under Manual of Gainful Exercise. Give it a click. Next, we have Monster Loot, Dragonlance, Shadow of the Dragon Queen from Anne Gregerson. And this is part of an ongoing series from Anne, focused on helping DMs understand the loot available for any of the enemies described in a particular Wizards of the Coast 5th edition book, as well as opportunities to maybe harvest from some of the enemies, depending kind of on their creature type. So it says, when brave adventurers face the dangers of the world, they want something to show for it. The supplement provides individual loot for each monster in the Shadow of the Dragon Queen, as well as basic crafting and harvesting system that works with 5th edition. These brave adventurers will be able to craft the hide, teeth, and claws of their enemies into dangerous weapons and equipment that is sure to mark them as legendary heroes of the realm. So you have examples of loot. So it lists the Aurak and the Astaran drone here. So you can look at some of those, but we're going to look inside at some of these as well. But the price, $2.95 for 24 pages, is so generous. I think that's a great price to really have the prep ready. If you think of this, this is really a prep opportunity for the DM. You could go get your Shadow of the Dragon Queen out and sit there and look at what the party's going to encounter this time, and make a list of what the loot is going to be once they slay something. But why not just use a book like this? I mean, it's only $2.95 and it's just got you covered, right? can skip that step and move on to something else, because you know your players are going to say, okay, I loot the body, what's on it, right? And this, you just look it up, it's all here. So most Wizards of the Coast books have references to monster manual monsters as well. So this section here, it says new monsters is going to be all the ones that are in Shadow of the Dragon Queen, and then of course any references to monster manual monsters like the clay golem and guard, etc., are going to be over here. So really cool. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many. I love this. And, you know, gives you some background on how to use it. It talks about, you know, maybe not harvesting from humanoids, which is a good idea to not do. And then it talks about the time spent harvesting. So you're getting that whole harvesting mechanic in here as well. And yeah, so in this preview, we're not seeing any of the example loot, so we'll look at the ones on the catalog page in just a second. But I do want to point out it covers the Ankylocks all the way down to the Worstonkur, which is everything from the Shadow of the Dragon Queen. And the other thing is, you've got the Draconians, for example, in here, all the different types. You're going to encounter those throughout Krynn, right? So even if you don't run Shadow of the Dragon Queen, there's going to be some helpful stuff in here, and also from the monsters from the monster manual. So you might have a giant shark later, or a hobgoblin somewhere else, or a giant octopus, or a bone naga, right? And so having this extends beyond Shadow of the Dragon Queen. I know these are always billed as connected to a particular adventure, but I want you to think, especially when you're considering this low price point of, hey, you know, maybe I'm not going to play Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen until later this year, you know, thinking of next year, right? But maybe before then I need some of the other things, right? So always good to see. So let's look at this Auroch Draconian so you can get an idea. I just want you to have an idea of the types of loot that would be accessed if you take down an Auroch. So it says 3d4 ounces of arcane dust, which can be used as an additional material component when casting spells that deal damage. When used in this way, you can choose to re-roll one of the rolled damage dice and must keep the second result. So that's a fun way to mix up a spell. And then you got 1d4 vials of noxious poison gas. As an action, you can throw this vial up to 30 feet away, where it shadows in a cloud of noxious gas. Each creature within a 15-foot radius of where the vial landed must make a con saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes poison damage and gains a level of exhaustion. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage and doesn't gain exhaustion. So cool. Yeah, you can see how that makes sense. You know, they've got this poison gas on them, and now you're going to be able to take that and use it. So again, don't have to think about it. It's all here for you listed. You can just look this up when somebody slays an Auroch Draconian, read it out, or maybe just pick one of the things, and then next time they slay an Auroch, pick the other, right? So lots of options. I appreciate it. I'm so glad this series exists. Look for it in the links below under Monster Loot, Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen, and give it a click. Next, we have Temple of Lies from Brooke Whitney, $4.95 for 24 pages. And it just came out this week, but it already has 8 ratings with an average of 5 stars. So that's really good. And I saw MT Black, who's a fantastic adventure writer, and just a writer in general, commented favorably about this adventure as well on social media. So it says, a dying forest, a delightful town forged by a dark sacrifice, and the beating heart beneath it all, a derelict temple shimmering with secrets. And it says, welcome to the Temple of Lies. Unwrap this player-driven winter mystery for 4 to 5 characters of 5th level. No more railroads. Every decision matters and changes how the story unfolds. Branching paths and multiple dungeon entrances and a myriad of potential conclusions. This adventure provides endless fun with rewarding choices and a range of challenges for any character. So that's really cool. You know, a lot of adventures, especially previous editions, were very railroad, which means you have to stay on track, you have to go exactly a certain way. So it's nice to see when an adventure gives a lot of options and that the choices matter. So Very, very cool. It says 46 hours of play packed into 15 pages, high-resolution VTT maps of the temple, 6 new monsters, including Brain in a Jar and Workshop Devils, 7 standout NPCs with clear motivations players will love or love to hate, the perfect adventure for the holiday season, including a midwinter festival with 2 classic games reimagined using D&D rules, including a snowball fight and charades, all magic items and stat blocks detailed in the appendices. So that's really cool that you're getting some mini games as well, and they're using the 5th edition mechanics. So very cool. So looking inside, you get to see that there's an intro, and then there's 3 chapters of the adventure and a conclusion, and then your appendices with the magic items and the monsters. So really cool. We'll look at some of this in detail, but I just want to scroll so you can see the cool layout. Very, very wintry, and yes, it looks like it fits well with holiday time. Yeah, so here's the charades. This is inside a roomy fuchsia tent. Tomas and Dino host charades. This game is tailored for those with a flair for the dramatic. Tomas is passionate about theater and dresses in full costume each day of the festival. Today he is a pirate. Plush pillows in a rainbow of colors are scattered about the tent as characters are invited to take a seat in a circle upon entering. The interior is brightly lit by odd glowing spheres floating overhead. Tomas explains the rules of the game. Each participant receives a word at the start of a round and must keep it a secret. The goal is to get other participants to guess their word. On their turn, a participant must give one-word clues to the other participants. The clue cannot be the same as the word they received. Upon a successful guess, both the guesser and clue giver receive a point. After 3 rounds, the participant with the most points wins. So, and then it shows how to run the game. And then the different prompts like dragon, vampire, goblin, lich, beholder. And then it says ending the game. The game ends after 3 rounds. Tomas is thrilled by the performance he witnessed and shakily leaps to his feet, favoring his right leg. Any character who wins receiving a fervent handshake and a cloak of billowing, which is in the appendix, from Tomas's own personal collection. After the game, characters can ask Tomas for information about Everstone. He offers to be a personal mentor to any aspiring actors among the characters. So I love that. Lots of connections with this NPC. So, you know, he can be a mentor. He can give you information about Everstone. He can give you this cloak of billowing. So it's really cool. And then there's a crystal ball thing here with fortunes, and it explains fortunes and facts here. And yeah, I love these NPCs. They seem pretty detailed. And here's a snowball fight. Yeah, I think this is going to be just such a perfect thing to run as a one-shot for the holidays. So let's see what the adventure hooks are to get people into it. It says it can be an escort mission. No goods have successfully reached Everstone in weeks. All caravans and carts sent soon return to Mirabar. Their merchants spooked by hulking beasts with too many faces. The characters agree to ensure a cart of supplies reaches the town safely in exchange for 300 GP, although the merchant will not accompany them due to fear. Then there's 2 others. We're only going to read one more, but Merry Midwinter. The annual festivities during Midwinter in Everstone are legendary, and their centennial celebration is sure to be the best of them. The characters want to experience firsthand the town's astonishing amenities, heating all winter long, and partake in the games, the food, the sights, and the holiday. So get to see quite a bit in here. I think both of those are really good adventure hooks, and there's another one as well. But yeah, you get to see quite a bit of the adventure. This is just 9 pages of the 24, so there's a lot more, including all those appendix items. But I really like this. I think the NPCs are so colorful. I love that it's working in games that we know, like snowball fights and charades and things like that. And that the NPCs have so much more to them than you usually see. So check it out. It's under Temple of Lies in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Treasures of Lockstone Vault by Zach Gorley, and it is only $2 for the 11 pages. And it says there's 10 new feats for players to use, as well as 50 new magic items. And of course, as always, for the feats, you have to check with your DM to see if you can use them. But it's a lot of stuff. I mean, to get 50 magic items and 10 feats for $2, I think that's a great deal. So we'll look at one of the feats and one of the magic items. If the magic items are in here, yeah, they are. Okay, So we can look at one of each, and you can come here and look at some as well, because you get to see 7 of the 11 pages. So this one just jumped out at me. Moon's Blessing. You have magical connection to the moon. Perhaps a moon deity blessed your birth, or you were born under the light of a full moon. Whatever the case, lunar magic infuses you. When you take this feat, you gain the following benefits. Increase your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 1 to a maximum of 20. You learn the Moonbeam and 1 Moonbeam spell and 1 first level spell of your choice. The first level spell must be from the Divination or Evocation School of Magic. You can cast each of these spells without expending a spell slot. Once you cast either of these spells in this way, you can't cast that spell in this way again until you finish a long rest. You can also cast these spells using spell slots, all that stuff, right? The usual. Very cool, like that. Now let's look down here at the magic items. So the Blorp potion looks kind of fun, and we have some art for that. It's rare. It says this potion is an unsettling green color and incredibly viscous. Upon drinking the potion, you transform, taking on the appearance and statistics of a gelatinous cube for 1 minute. Your equipment melds into your new form. You retain your knowledge of who your allies are when you transform. That's fun. So all of a sudden you turn into a gelatinous cube. That could, especially if you're in a small space, that could be really interesting. Quickly absorbing your party into the cube. And they don't, maybe if you drink this accidentally, or you don't know what it is, or somebody tells you, oh, it's a healing potion, and you drink it and it's actually a Blorp potion, the party may not realize that how long the transformation is going to be, right? So as the DM, that it's a minute, but the party may think it's going to be longer. So dealing with that could be really interesting. And that's just one. We've got the Crusader's Amulet, Breath of Wind. So quite a few things in here, including even elemental essences. And there's the Heart of Flame here. So I just think you can't go wrong with this price point. I mean, $2 to get 10 feats and 50 magic items. Even if you just use a few of them, $2, it's worth it, So check it out. It's in the links below under Treasures of Lockstone Vault. Give it a click. Next, we have Untold Subclasses, Oath of Restitution, options for odd characters or unexpected NPCs from Keith Hiscox, $1.95 for 6 pages. And it says you get the new Paladin Oath of Restitution, DM notes on challenging the oaths of paladins, and a creature stat block for an NPC Restitution Paladin. It says there are many great paladin oaths out there, but the majority of them reduce the paladin to a warrior for good rather than a force for good. Whilst all paladins can act as holy warriors, not all paladins reach for the weapon in the first instance. The paladin oath here rounds out the class as a roving fixer of problems and righter of wrongs. We have attempted to provide a mechanical framework that gives a paladin more up their sleeve to use during the exploration and problem-solving part of the games, while still allowing all the smite and glow we've come to expect from the class. So I like this series from Keith because it does seem to be typically trying to mix it up and give you some unexpected things for these subclasses. The whole title of the series is Untold Subclasses. So, and there are some bundles for some of the other previous ones down here as well to check out. But I love this artwork too of this dwarf lifting this carriage. So it says the Oath of the Restitution sets a paladin on a complex path, one that requires the holy warrior to make penitent restitution for the sins of the wicked and take on the burden of the weaker folks' lesser sins and tribulations. Paladins who dedicate themselves to this oath believe that it is the place of the strong to carry the strain of the evils of the world on behalf of the weak. When these paladins slay their enemies to prevent future evils, they also take on the burden of undoing the past sins of their slain foes. So nice. I like that this is connected to others. A lot of times the paladin oaths are very personal, right? And so having it be connected to what others have gotten up to that they maybe shouldn't have is cool. And then there's tenets like relieve the burdens of the meek, rebuild that which was broken. So that's maybe what's going on here. He's fixing this broken stagecoach. And then it says, testing the restitution oath. The Paladin's Oath grants some awesome powers based on their seemingly unshakable self-belief. For a fully defined character, our character's commitment to their oath needs to be tested, right? Each tenet of their oath should be probed with trials and tribulations that force them to consider the full ramifications of their philosophy. That is so true. So the oath itself, these tenets, give you lots of story opportunity, because you should be checking to see, is this character really playing that? And if you have an NPC that's also under that oath, you can have them show up and be like, what are you doing? This is not our oath, if you've got the character kind of straying from paying attention to it. Or maybe you have one that is really vigilant, and it would be really fun for everyone at the table to see them adhering to those tenets. So really cool. So it says, here are some ideas for DMs seeking to test the 4 tenets of restitution. Often the most in-depth moral tests pit elements of a paladin's oath against themselves. Such tests require a paladin player to find novel solutions or to justify least worst options according to the character's own personal ethics. So a paladin might quest to recover a powerful lost item only to discover that its presence in a new location is the only thing sustaining or protecting a poor community. So then, the tenet is to restore that which was lost, but then if I take this whole community suffers, right? So these moral dilemmas, these ethical dilemmas, a lot of episodes of Star Trek were these ethical dilemmas where, like, no matter which way you go, somebody's going to suffer. And so that is a great quandary to put your player in, because the wheels have to turn and you have to think. You can't just say, oh, yeah, shoot the bad guy. It's simple. That's the bad guy. We're the good guy. No. There's consequences. We got to think through this. We got to come up with a plan. What would work for everybody? What's a compromise, right? So role play for days with this stuff. All right. So, and it's just the examples. I love that they're giving examples here for the restitution oath, but think of that for other paladins. You can have so much to do with that. So you got oath spells. Emissary of Repair. You can use your channel divinity to augment your presence with divine power. As a bonus action, you can grant yourself proficiency on all tool use checks and expertise in any tool with which you are already proficient for the next hour. You can use your channel divinity to utter ancient words that are painful for evil creatures to hear. As an action, you can present your holy symbol, and each evil creature within 30 feet of you that can hear you must make a con saving throw. On a failed save, the creature is pained, suffering disadvantage to attacks and skill checks for 1 minute. So that's cool. And then at 7th level, you get the Oath of Restitution feature called Aura of Relief. And you can take on the troubles of others and bear them on their behalf. Whenever you're within 10 feet of a creature that is suffering from a condition, you are automatically aware of it, and you can choose to use your reaction to magically take on that condition yourself, relieving the creature of it. So that's nice. Get rid of their bad stuff going on. It says you may take on levels of exhaustion or any other condition which you do not already have. And then there's a 15th level and a 20th level, but I'm going to let you come here and read that, because you can read pretty much the whole book here in the preview. And then there's a stat block for a Restitution Paladin with a CR 8. So you could introduce the subclass through having this Paladin show up and be doing something, or you can use it as an enemy or an ally, whatever you want to do with that. So I love to see that with subclasses. So check it out. It's under Untold Subclasses Oath of Restitution in the links below. Next we have Weekend at Gerard's by Penny Blake. And it is a suggested price of $0 on Pay What You Want for 19 pages. I do encourage you to pay something. Penny is such a champion of everyone in the TTRPG space. Every week I see Penny doing TTRPG Rising posts, which is something on Twitter where people are helping people get more followers, and just doing nice things like making this available for free. So I really encourage you to buy this and put some money in there for Penny, because Penny is leading by example and out there really helping the TTRPG community every day. I see it all the time. So, and if you're not following Penny, you should. Penny Blake. Just search for Penny Blake on Twitter or wherever. So this is a sequel. We talked about Cupcakes of Doom previously, which is down here in the more titles from this contributor, which is only $1. So you could get that and then get this if you want. So this is a sequel to that adventure, but you can play it on its own as well. It says, everyone's favorite undead host, Gerard the Lich, is having a fabulous party, and you're invited. What could possibly go wrong when a bunch of scheming devils, dastardly demons, witches, liches, and one adorable little hellhound all get together to celebrate the season? Join them and find out in this festive murder mystery. Can be played as a sequel to Cupcakes of Doom or stand alone. As we said, scalable for any level, playing time 3 to 4 hours. So really cool. And Penny's adventures are always fun. There's always some humor in there, and just lots of opportunities. And we talked about on the Cupcakes of Doom one how you could actually serve cupcakes at the table for the party, which is a really fun idea. And then this one's going to be kind of holiday themed, right? So you can really lean into that and add some holiday stuff as well. So yeah, just scrolling through, you can see some really cool artwork, and there's even a random gifts table which you can reuse outside of this adventure. You can get a brain in a jar as a gift, right? And then just different little events and just fun artwork throughout, like I said. And then at the end you got some clues, putting it all together, and 𝙎𝙬𝙧𝙬𝙪 that ends well for the final section. And there's even some maps in here. There's something called the 𝘽𝙤𝙘𝙀, which is a CR2 that you're going to have to deal with. And there's some parlor games in here that you can use outside of this or in the adventure. So you're getting a lot of value, especially since you can name your own price. So I can't say enough about how kind that is. So it says the adventure starts with the PCs receiving an invitation to Gerard's Yuletide celebration. You can print off the actual invitation included with this adventure and give it to your players in advance if you prefer. Yeah, you could even email this, or you know, if you see them in person a lot at your party, you could give them the invitation, or you could give them the invitation at the end of one of your sessions, and then they come back the next week. It says the PCs arrive at Gerard's mansion and have a chance to mix and mingle with other guests before things start going wrong. As the weekend progresses, guests begin disappearing. Can the PCs find the source of the mysterious curse before it gets them too? And there's optional complications. A band of angry villages surround the mansion and threaten to burn it down. Some of their number have been vanishing, and they are convinced the Lich and his cronies are responsible. And then once the PCs have discovered the cat, they must find a way to confront and defeat it, either by ambushing it in the house or tracking it to its mountain lair before it eats any more people. So you've got this 𝘽𝙬𝙀 eating people, apparently. So yeah, even though there's a little bit of fun and humor, there's still some death going on. So I love that mixture. So let's find another little fun part to read for you. Oh, look at that pig. That's so cool. It says, Titavilas raises the best bacon. Titavilas once served 𝙁as his primary advisor. However, he has now left that life behind him to pursue his dream of pig farming. The Archduke of Hell now raises the best bacon in the realms, and he has brought plenty of it to the party. He has also brought with him his pet 𝙤𝙤𝙢𝙤 piglet, Princess. He carries the little darling everywhere, and she really is a show stealer. So you can see that sort of tongue-in-cheek humor. It's not like hitting you over the head humor. It's more subtle and suitable. Sometimes humor takes you out of an adventure, but this one, the humor feels really appropriate to what's happening, and it fits right in because, you know, this ex-Duke of Hell is now pig farming and carrying around little piglets named Princess. Right. So fun stuff, and so fun to role play as a DM, I think, and for the characters to interact with. And that's just one little, we just read that one little paragraph. There's so much other fun, I'm telling you, buried in this adventure from Penny and other adventures from Penny. So make sure you check out Penny's work. Make sure you pay something. We need people like this in the community out there, really uplifting others, being reasonable in their pricing for people. This is just a pure passion for this community, and I love to see it. So look for it in the links below under Weekend at Gerard's. Give it a click. All right, that was our last new release, but before you go, we want to look at the exclusive discount we're going to have for you next week. It's on a title called Tomb of the Witch King or Queen, and it's a 5th edition adventure from John Paget roleplay, and it's 12 pages, and it says this is a linear adventure through the Tomb of 𝙭𝙭. The labyrinth is not a map-based journey, but instead gives each player a chance to DM a section of the adventure. Depending on what the DM and players decide, this can take a short time or many sessions as the PCs look for a way out of the witch's labyrinth. So that's fun. It's going to have the players sort of round robin DM the adventure. So that's something we haven't seen on here before. So you get 4 levels of tomb raiding action, challenges, encounters designed for low, mid, and high level adventurers. 3 unique magical items, traps, 2 unique encounters with formidable undead foes, and they have to take turns to test each other with the witch's labyrinth. So I think this could be just a lot of fun, and it's normally $3.45, so you're not even going to have to pay that much. We're going to have a really good discount on this one for you next week, so you want to make sure you're following us everywhere at Splinterverse. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, even on Mastodon. We're on Mastodon, so you can follow us over there as well, and get access to our discounts of the week every week on Money Saving Mondays, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And of course, we'll talk about them on this series. But, the series comes out on Friday and the discount has passed a little bit. So you want to make sure you're following us so you can get that discount and activate it as quick as possible to take advantage. Some of them are limited in number as well, but all of them are typically limited in time. So definitely want to check that out. Well, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video for the algorithm, leave me a comment. I will respond to you personally. And if you can, share the video on your social media so that others can learn about all these great artists and creators that we've talked about this week, and support them by clicking those links in the video description, purchasing their books, following them on social media, leave them reviews. We got to help uplift the community like Penny Blake does, and really just help grow the community. And if you purchase anything after you click those links in the video description, you're going to help support the channel through a small affiliate fee. And we have all of our books as well that we hope you consider. You can go to splinterverse.com to learn all about those, or click the links in the video description to look at our books. And we have our brand new Dragonlance Companion. It's 180 pages for players and DMs with 2 complete adventures, 13 subclasses, spells, and all sorts of other good Dragonlance stuff to help you bring Krynn to life at your gaming table. So be sure to check that one out as well. Well, thanks so much for watching. If you're a creator out there and you're really busy with the holidays, make sure you take some time for yourself, away from your project, away from all the hectic hustle and bustle for the holidays, and just have some relaxation. Maybe you try some of the exercises we looked at in that book earlier in the video, or you just rest or read something that inspires you. You don't have to go every second. It's good to take time, hear the sounds of the birds outside, or go for a walk, or just rest, enjoy the nature around you. You don't have to be constantly busy. I can fall into that trap myself, trying to get so many different things done and juggle so many different things, and it's good to take some time out. Get a long rest, get a short rest, whatever it is, you can do it. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. We really appreciate your support, and until next time, happy adventuring.